comeback of the week in Los Fresnos, where PSJA was down 21-7 to the Falcons in the second quarter, but right before the halftime buzzer, Jesse Navarro to Bobby Guajardo, and it's 21-14. And then in the second half, Jesse Navarro, the new quarterback, hits Taylor Santillan, the old quarterback. PSJA outscores Los Fresnos 26-7 down the stretch. Los Fresnos takes a knee at the end instead of spiking the ball, and PSJA wins 33-28 to start the season 2-0. Mike, Steve Marroquin is 2-0 as the head of the Bears going into district play. What do you think of these guys?
One of the surprise teams in the Valley so far. Yeah. Steve Marroquin is a guy I met while he was an assistant in Mercedes, and I always thought he had a bright mind and would make a good head coach someday. And I'm very happy for him, and I'm very happy for the Bears that they got things going again, because them not being competitive in the Valley is just not the same in Valley football. We're used to hearing these guys being top 10, top 5 in the Valley, and it's good to see them going, and it's good to see that they've gone back to the running game. Now they're more balanced, where last year they tried to throw the ball. And I thought being that they ran for so many years was just too much for the players to adjust to.
Too much running and too much passing. Now it seems that they've got the right mix.
They got a nice mix, and they also have this aura now that they've won some close ball games, and they won on the road, and so they got a lot to build on, and I don't think we've heard the end of them by any stretch for this year.
All right, it is District 31 5A beginning this week. McAllen Rowe at McAllen is the big game of the week, and Mike, let's talk about this. Rowe and Mac High coming off of big wins in week 1. Who do you see winning this one?
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Rowe was able to bounce back from their loss in the first game of the year. I think I have Mac High going 3-0 to start the year. Another surprise team, sort of.
What about you, Joe?
I think McAllen Rowe is still growing. I think they're going to get better and better and better, but not good enough yet to beat McAllen. I'm going to go with McAllen.
All right, well, from what I saw from Justin Owens last week, I've got to take Rowe, because that kid can not only throw the ball, he's shifty as a runner. Had almost 200 yards rushing. I'm going to go with McAllen Rowe with the win there. The Battle of the Arroyo, not much of a battle this year. It was the biggest deficit in, 84 years? Yeah, it was over in a heartbeat. Harlingen downs San Benito, and it wasn't even close, taking the trophy. Joe, you were there. Your thoughts on this Harlingen team and what they look like coming back after the loss at San Antonio Johnson?
Well, sometimes you can break it down to one play can make a difference in a game. How about the first play on defense? The first hit of the night delivered a blow, caused a turnover, scored points, and set the tone. Statistically, this was a blowout, and that score could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse. Yeah, but the surprise team in 32 5A has to be Brownsville Lopez. Now they are 2-0 after just trouncing Valley View at Sam Stadium this past week. Mike, your thoughts on the Lobos and the fact that they're 2-0 under their new coach, Jason Starkey?
When I was doing research before the season, two things stood out at me. First, that they had a lot coming back. I think they had 9 starters on each side of the ball, if I'm not mistaken. Second, they have a head coach who is a 2-time All-Mid-American selection at Marshall University.
Yeah.
And he was part of a team that won a D1 AA national title in 1996. And he played in the NFL. Okay, if you're a high school athlete and you have that kind of a resume as your head coach, it's not very difficult to listen to somebody like that. You get their attention, it motivates them, and then you have that kind of experience. When you and I were talking before the season started, we both agreed that was going to be our dark horse team in 32 5A, and with spots 3 and 4 to me wide open in 32 5A, I will not be surprised if they make the playoffs.
Yeah, and speaking of the coach who was at Marshall, that Lopez Lobos offensive line is definitely a thundering herd. And look at their schedule. This week a bye, next week at Harlingen. Sure, that's tough, but then the final 7 weeks of the season, Lopez plays all their games at Sam Stadium. Definitely a team to watch. We are coming right back to finish up on Sunday Sports Extra. Going to talk a little volleyball when we come back.